Hello, hello. This is Geeks Assembled Audioheads, and we listen to stories, and we love to tell you about dramatic, full cast audio stories that we have found, or we have enjoyed, or ones that we've had recommended to us. And I really wanted to do a comedy, so I found a a story with Robert Hardy as the lead called His Master's Voice, and it's quite enjoyable. And it was really funny and very political, and which was great because of you know the politics are always relevant right now. So just so interesting, and I would like to know kind of what Lee thought of his master's voice, and it's a it's a it's an audio in four parts. So,
Mhm.
what's your opening thoughts on this?
Um, well, when was it made? 2007.
7
Yeah. Yeah, it was a four-part comedy drama. Um,
was funny.
it sounded like it was recorded in front of a live audience.
Yeah,
Um,
it did.
yeah. As you say, it's political. I got some of the jokes, but if you're not from the UK, you might not have done because there's certain political names, what they were joking about. Folks over there in America might not have heard of these people. So it does fall flat there. Um, yeah, Robert Hardy playing Lord Milan, a newspaper mogul, um, playing playing exactly the same character. Really, he played in the 1980s on TV in a TV show called Hot Metal.
Oh yeah.
Um, that's what I just went to Hot Metal. And there he is there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and in that he played two parts, twin brothers, Russell Spam and Twiggy Rathbone, who owned a newspaper, and it was exactly the same characterization. This is what I was listening to. I thought that's Hot Metal. Um,
Fun.
yeah, it was funny. It was of its time, of its day, because you say it's dated now because of the people who they were talking about.
Because yeah, it was
Uh,
definitely from the
it was
right
because
right before the economic crash, right?
it was also before the Tories got into government. It was the Gordon Brown government of Labour.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I mean, also as well, this is like the other TV series you've may heard of, Drop the Dead Donkey, which was also set in a newsroom, a political thing. It was on a weekly thing. But yeah, the characters were good in this. The struggling editor Keith, played by Tony Gardner, was quite good. Um, his job
Uh-huh.
always his job always on the land.
Uh-huh.
You had Giles, or other one played by Michael Maloney, other one known as Delouche.
Whoosh.
He was a good character. Um, yeah, it was enjoyable. Um, but as I say, while I was listening to it, I was thinking, as I've said, would people get the jokes and the jibes of these political people if they were from this country? And I don't think they would. I mean, did you understand some of the names, Susan? Or
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, of course. Of course, like, there was, like, the Brown and the Cameron and the Blair and so of course, those names were, but then the the shadow government and that sort of thing the Tories were running was it was interesting, like all the kind of subterfuge there. That was
Hmm.
great. And like the other thing was, even without the complete picture, the story was super funny enough so that and the actors I had heard on plenty of other things. You know, Robert Hardy was Siegfried and uh, the what you call it, the uh, that story.
All creatures great and small.
All creatures great and small.
Mm.
And Tony Gardner was in a bunch of things, and Michael Maloney was super famous, and then there was like and Michael Maloney and Tony Gardner and Beth Chalmers and Simon Travis and Eve Webster and Stephen Critchlow had all done stuff on Big Finish. So I was like, yeah. And it was fun listening to the story, and the jokes were they would land a little bit, but they were it was there were jives mostly. Mostly it was that British that British like stab you in the chest while trying to pat your back at the same time kind of sense of humor. And that was so great. I just love that. And so go on. Do you have anything? I mean, I that was why I liked this was that, and it was written by Mark Tavner and Steve Punt, and like those guys are names that I know of.
Yeah, well,
And
Steve Punt, he used to be, if I remember rightly, part of a comedy team on TV.
oh,
Um, I can't remember the name of the show, and it'll come to me. But yeah, he used to be on TV back in the 90s. Um,
uh-huh. And John Ellis produced, directed it. Uh, so it was like, just kudos to her because she did a great job. And and it was and the funny sort of meeting at the bar, and the poor sod who had to do the piece about the endless drinks, like trying all the whiskey in northern Scotland, was like, oh my gosh, that's a thing, that's a task. And then all the wine down in a certain part of certain segment of the bar scene in London. I don't know. Anyway, it was just these enormous drunk moments was just fun, and so yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was fun, and Giles, have putting up with it all was great, and so.
I mean,
What about you? What were your favorite moments?
I mean, the moment, because he was given, what's his name? Keith was given editorial control, which Lord Milan was doing that so because he knew he wouldn't succeed and he'd be out of a job because he
Uh-huh.
was he was
Much like Ted Lasso,
yeah.
you give the kid
Well, it did,
a job.
but it didn't work out that way. Like one of the stories what was on the headlines was a sketch of Lord Milan baring his buttocks. Uh, he was dragged in the office, and he couldn't believe that he kept his job and gave him free reign over the paper. Um, but yeah, there was that. There was also, what I think it was episode 4 where the Louche ended up in hospital because of a certain certain thing. Yeah, it was. I don't. I liked those sort of things. I'm not a very political person. Um, so political comedy really doesn't gel well with me.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
we used to have this TV program, if you remember, Yes, Yes, Minister, Yes, Prime Minister.
Yes, Minister. Yes.
I couldn't stand that when
Okay.
I'm not.
What about the New Statesman with Rick Mayall?
You see, that was totally different type of comedy. That was
There are
alternative.
those two different kinds, aren't there?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Uh,
yeah, you see that the Yes Prime Minister was more straight laced, um, straight down the middle. With New Statesman, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what was going to happen, um, and it was more fantastical than real life. Um, and this is the sort of same thing. Political comedy. Yeah, I know people like it, but when the bits in this were not political, it was just funny, it worked for me. When it went a bit more political, I don't really want to listen to about this, that, and the other. Oh, that bit's funny, you know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was only what was it, 4 episodes at 25 minutes long each.
mhm.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't that long. So I can't grumble about that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was I've never heard it before. Never even heard of it before. So good on you finding this one.
Thanks.
So
That
back
was
to you.
great. I enjoyed like laughing at the Tories and
Mm,
the way that they the the subtle innuendo that the Tories know finances, and then but everybody in their party was in trouble for financial stuff. That was beautiful. That was like, oh yeah, that's the way it is here too. And
mm,
and then the way that they were like talking about that new guy Tony Blair, I just like thought that was great. And he went up with Clinton or whatever, like they were, and then with Bush, younger Bush, they were mates or something,
mhm.
kind of in a way. Hell of a lot better than Trump is with all this fucking all of our allies. He just alienated all of Europe, Canada, Mexico, and everybody else. And he just says, and all of the oligarchs super yachts that were in the Boston Harbor, that were on lockdown in Charleston, on the Charleston piers, they're all gone. They've all been released. They've all probably gone back to the oligarchs who are Russian, who own a lot. And so like, you can see whose pockets he's in. And so we just laugh about that and we cry about that. And I mean, like that's what political humor is good for. Because if you're not laughing, oh my god, you're just like crying about this stuff. It's just
See the trouble.
ridiculous.
See the trouble with the Trump situation is it's not supposed to be comedy.
I know.
It's,
Oh my god.
because
I know you're supposed to like you guys. We're
it's, I
supposed to
mean,
like Canada. For fuck's sake. We're supposed to like we're supposed to like Europe. That was what that we we cultivated those relationships for 80 years after World War II. 80 years of cultivation of generating camaraderie and je
no,
ne sais quoi and
it's back
fraternity.
it's,
And where the fuck have we gone wrong now?
it's backfiring, isn't it? It's
Hmm.
and more fooling if
Anyway,
he.
I'm very pro Europe. I'm very this person very pro UK, very pro Europe, very very pro NATO, pro coming together as a team because we
Well,
did so much good together.
just you wait till you're at war with us all. Then
Oh my god, I know.
that's the way it's gonna go, I think.
Oh my god, I know.
Hey ho. You
Well,
couldn't. You couldn't.
the
You couldn't
uh, that's what's going on is that the other reason I like the name I just even the name of this piece, his master's voice, was because you're like, oh, this is the master's voice is Lord Milan, but in our case the master's voice is Putin. You know that. You know that that's what's going on here. See?
you do know. I don't know if it's in your country, but in this country, his master's voice was a record shop.
Uh-huh. The RCA.
I don't know. It's the gramophone with the dog
The
listening to
gramophone with the little doggy.
yeah, HMV, his master's voice.
HMV.
Yeah.
And on our side it was RCA. Or yeah, RCA. I don't know
So
what RCA
I
stands
think
for.
I think yeah, the title of the piece is a play on there. Because the
Uh-huh, I do too.
dog's listening to that records, and you're having to listen to the Lord Milan and
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was
And the party as a whole.
yeah.
But I didn't realize that we were listening to the proletariat party of Russia and not you know the Party Democratique of Europe, whatever.
Yeah, but I can't see how he can get away with what he's doing, being in the pocket of Putin. Surely he can get removed from power by your own
I
government.
don't know if there's enough animosity against him.
Bloody hell.
I know. This is the laughing part of it,
Mm.
because there are people in this situation who think it's like a really good thing, who think that Putin is an okay substitute for being a president who works for the American people. And I don't like it. That's why I'm wearing the Brigadier today, because I'm all for, here he is. This is good soldiers follow the path of progress. Progressive soldiers, leading us into union with aliens. I mean, we want to be in union with aliens. Good aliens, right?
I don't know, some
Am I
bad ones.
right?
Sexy ones
Yeah.
can come.
Doctor Who, Cat in Red Dwarf. These are good aliens. I'm
Mhm.
just saying.
Anyway, we digressed.
I have digressed all the fucking way, but I love you guys. I love you guys so much. The Brits, you guys have entertained me. You guys are all of my sex symbols. All of my kind of coolness comes from knowing and loving everything about this small island nation that is so impactful. You guys are the best, and I'm
Oh,
pissed off that we're not that we don't like that my president doesn't like you guys anymore. That fucking that
he
really
doesn't.
really, oh my gosh, that
He
sods me
doesn't.
off.
He doesn't like anyone apart from
Uh,
himself.
yeah, and his master's voice.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back on to
Oh
track,
my
shall we?
god. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and finish whatever you'd like to say about this audio drama,
Yeah.
audio comedy,
As I say,
comedy.
I love comedy. I'm not so keen on political
I know.
comedy.
No.
I don't know if I liked the live audience element of it.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was.
Um, it's like they're telling you when to laugh,
Uh-huh.
even if you're not finding that bit funny. Uh,
Uh-huh.
it's like an American sitcom, isn't it, with the canned laughter
With a
and all.
laugh track,
Yeah, I never like that when it's used on TV as well. Um,
right?
so that was a bit off-putting for me as well. But apart from that, it was an enjoyable listen. So do you want me to score it, Susan?
Yes, please.
Oh, let's have a look. I will give this because of yours little thing. I'm going to give this 8 headlines out of 10.
Nice. Very good. That's a good score. I'm glad you
It was
liked
just
it
those
that
little,
much.
yeah, it was those little, just those little.
But Lee, I was worried with what you just said that you were just not into this at all. So because it was very political, and that was really where I was like,
That's why I dropped into it.
I wanted to broach the subject of politics because we're geeks assembled, and there has to be some way of interjecting real world politics into our podcast because I mean I geek out about that, and
Yeah, I've never
if
done
you
it.
follow my social media personally, Susan Backstrom, you're gonna see that I'm trying to be an in-person advocate for disabled people in our state, and then pushing that with my coworkers up to the nation level. And so, yeah. Anyway, I will. I'll give this a point and a half more. I'll give this 9.5 because of what it did. I didn't mind the live in the studio audience kind of feel. I don't always, that doesn't bother me as much as it did Lee. But I also did the the things that bothered me about it were the fact that the 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 politics were a big deal, but then they kind of tried to put a lot of sort of other fluff in, like the drinking of the every whiskey in Scotland or whatever that was, and I just was like, I mean that's funny, and that's a slice of life, but it's a slice of life that was a little on the absurd side. But the political was very timely for that time of life, like the world, and it was before the great economic crash, and sort of that that really the Tories were full of the joie de vivre. So like there really was a lot of there was a lot to like be lighthearted about if you were a Tory back then, and you got that out of this. I mean, I'm not a Tory, not by any stretch of the imagination, and I would be Labor, and I would be Democratic Socialist, maybe. I don't really know. I don't know where I necessarily slot in, but I would probably vote Eddie Izzard for anything, and you know, that's just me though. But anyway, uh, so 9.5. 9.5 bottles of whiskey out of 10. And thank you for watching our podcast. Thank you for bearing with us. We do get political ourselves here. If you were to be part of our Facebook chat, you'd hear that we don't actually that we are not political enough. but yeah, yet we are here stating these things, very political things, very real things. We'd invite you to come back who have left due to political upset. We'd like to invite you back because, hey, I want my friends from the UK back. And I want my friends from Europe back. Oh my God. I'm verklempt. Please talk amongst yourselves. Like, gosh, it's just a thing. Okay. So anyway, like, let's get this together. Okay, guys, come back and we'll talk about it. Okay. Anyway,
Who the hell is she on about?
so I'm on about a few of our former associates. And ring the bells, notifications, subscribe, like, do the whole engaging the algorithm situation, and then also, buy your newspapers, buy them, buy print media. It's not dead yet. Not. It's like punk. It's not dead yet. And also, by all means, message Lee if you want to join us if you're new. Otherwise, just like come back. Okay. Okay. Anyway, that's me. And be safe and
Yeah.
be unified. Okay. Okay.
Okay.